And welcome back, Mindsetters. Hope you had a nice little break there. You went and grabbed whatever you need to do. And you still have your pens and pads out ready to make notes because we're going to continue with the rest of the show. As Haley's going to continue with this question. Haley, take it away.
Thank you, Ty. Okay, I hope that you had a good break because now we're going on to bank statements. And this is really, really important that you actually understand how your bank statement works and kind of the fees. Those like hidden costs. All of a sudden, I get this money taken out of my account. Where does that money come from and how is it calculated? And also, you know what? You need to be able to be informed to decide if you've got to go open up a bank account, should you go to X bank or Y bank? Those are important questions. And I know there's been a lot of advertising lately about bank fees and
And they're going up and,
Going up and-
scaring people.
but okay, so let's start with this. Right, what I'm going to do is I'm going to spend quite a bit of time actually looking at these transaction fees. So, the transaction type. So we've got deposits at a branch or at an ATM. So those are deposits where you're putting money into your account. And we've got a check deposit, and that is totally free. So we're looking at the service fee for the transaction. Check deposits are free. If you do a cash deposit, now they've written it as R3 with a colon, comma 90%. What that basically means, I think I'm going to write it up here, is you are paying, every time you deposit cash, you are paying R3 plus you are paying 0.9% of the amount you are depositing. So you're taking the amount you're depositing and you're timesing that by 0.9%. I actually think that maybe I should do a calculation before we go on to the question. So let's find some more space here. So let's look at that. I said it was R3 plus the amount times by 0.9%. So if I had to take an amount of, let's say I deposit R1,000, my transaction fees, I'm going to have R3 plus R1,000, whoops, left out 1,000, times by 0.9%. So on my calculator, let's just see if we can work this out. I'm going to say my R1,000 times by 0.9%. That is actually R9 plus my R3. So I'm paying a total here of, let's get a pen, a total here of R12. Okay, let's carry on. Okay, now we've got cash withdrawals. That's when you take money out of your account. So now, if you go to an auto bank, you use an ATM, and you use this particular bank's ATM, then you're paying R3 plus 0.9%, the same amount. But if you do a branch cash withdrawal using a check card, credit card, or MasterCard, you actually paying 0.9% of the amount that you withdraw, but there is a minimum charge of 17 Rand. Ty, do you have any idea why if you go into the branch, you're paying a minimum that seems so high?
Probably that initial just walking in fee.
Walking in fee, what we are actually paying for if we go into the branch and we use their tellers is we are kind of paying part of their salary. They're trying to encourage us, but actually using the ATM. Because then they don't have to pay staff. Well, not as many staff. I suppose somebody does have to clear out the ATM and
Sneaky.
reconcile.
Sneaky.
So it is always more expensive to do something at the bank than it is at the ATM. So we've got a minimum fee of 17 Rand. Right, and now they've got different ways that you can do payments. You can do an electronic inter-account transfer, which costs you 3 Rand. A debit order, that's to another Standard Bank customer or other bank, is 3 Rand. 1% of everything we do, and this 27 Rand here is a maximum. So you will not pay more than 27 Rand. So that number is a maximum. Stop orders to all other accounts is again 3 Rand plus 0.55% with a maximum of 14, and your electronic account payment again 3 Rand, 0.55%, and 14 Rand maximum. What we mean is that after a certain amount, let's assume if I had millions of rands and I would transfer to Ty. Then we transfer, I'll give you an account payment. I'm going to give you $1 million. Okay?
That would be
I'm
great.
only going to be charged 14 Rand to do that. Wish I had. I wish I could get it. Right. Let's see what the questions say. What amount of money would you have to transfer using a single electronic account payment to pay the maximum service fee of 14 Rand? So what we're looking at here, let's just see if I can move these all down. I'm going to need more space. Oops. Don't know what that is. Okay. I'm going to move these down so that we've got them later. Right, let's find our question again. So we are looking for a single electronic account payment. That is this column here. So I'm going to highlight the column that we need. We're going to be looking at this inter-account payment, and we're looking at those values there. And I want to know how much to transfer for that 14 Rand. So my amount that I'm paying is 3 Rand plus an amount. Now, I don't know what that amount is. And I'm going to take that amount and I'm going to times it by 0.55%. And I want that to be equal to 14 Rand. Now, the nice thing about this subject is that, guys, you can guess and you can work it out by choosing some random numbers. So try 100 Rand, try 1,000 Rand, and see what kind of answers you get and see if you can get the answer. But I'm going to try and show it to you mathematically. So what we need to do now is we need to get that value on its own. So I'm first going to take my 3 and I'm going to move it to the other side of the equation. So I'm going to say, well, okay, I've actually got my amount. I'm going to rewrite this. Times by 0.55% is equal to 14 minus 3. I'm going to just put that into as 11 Rand. Right, so now I've got that. Now I need to get rid of the 0.44, so let's use a different color at 0.55%. And I'm going to divide by 0.55%, because then those cancel out. And I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. And now you will notice that we have our amount on its own. Let's move those again. So going back up, we see that we now have the amount on its own because we have actually cancelled those two out. So on my calculator, I'm going to say, well, okay, lost my calculator. On my calculator, I'm going to say, well, okay, I had 11 Rand, and I divide that by 0.55%, and I get an answer of 2,000 Rand. So for 2,000 Rand was my amount. 2,000 Rand is the amount that I can transfer to pay that maximum amount. So anything over 2,000 Rand, I'm still going to be paying my 14 Rand. So amount of money that you would have to transfer using a single electronic account payment to pay the maximum service fee of 14 Rand. So anything above 2,000, you're still paying 14 Rand. Anything below, well, you're paying less than 14 Rand. So let's move to the next part of our question. Got our table. Write a formula to calculate the service fee, and they want us to use an F, on an electronic account payment for an amount, A, that is smaller than the amount calculated in the question above. I think this question should have been 4.1. So our formula is, right, we're looking for our service fee is equal to the amount A times by 0.55% plus that original 3 Rand. And that's as easy as it is. It doesn't get more complicated. So kind of don't make it more complicated. And we can use that. If A is less than 2,000, we're going to be paying that. Only going to be looking at that 14 Rand if we get an answer that's bigger than 14 Rand. Then we're going to look and we're going to say, no, well, hold on a second. It's bigger than 14, so I'm only paying the maximum. Let's see if I've got time to do one more question. Draw a neat sketch of a graph that shows the way that the service fee for an electronic account payment depends on the amount of payment from 0 to 2,500. So I'm going to quickly do a few calculations. Well, actually, no, I'm just going to show you the graph. Right, we have, let's go with 0. I'm going to go with 1,000, 2,000, and that'll be my 2,500, half of that. Hey, first of all, I know that at a certain value, at 2,000, let's put in another 0 here. Okay, the service fee is straight. You know what? These should actually be at the bottom. I've got my service fee. Let's delete this. Right, my cost of our service fee, we're going up to 14 Rand. Let's make that kind of 7 Rand. And at 2,000, this is where I need the 1,000, 2,000, and 2.5. Right, so I'm starting at 0. At 2,000, I have to be on 14. And then from 0 to that price will be a constant increase because it's constantly increasing by 0.55% for every amount that you put in. And there's your graph. So I've done the graph very rough, but I hope that makes sense. But over 2,000 Rand from amount spent, you're going to be paying 14 Rand. So anything above 2,000 is 14 Rand. I think that we should probably end off here and maybe pick up again next week because we're going to be still doing finance next week as far as I can gather. And I hope that you guys are all keeping up with the finance that you're doing in class. But I'm going to say goodbye to you and hand over to Ty, who will take us to the end of the show, I suppose.
Yes. On that note, you know what, Haley? I'm a bit sad today because the grade 10s just decided to just disappear on me. Like, I've been sitting, scanning the page, seeing the posts, but I'm only seeing yesterday's ones, and I'm so sad. I'm just like, oh, come on, Mindsetters. But anyway, Mindsetters, this program is for you guys, so if you don't participate, we can't do much. But anyway, guys, I'm just encouraging you guys to make sure that you post on the page, chat to each other, use it, it's for you. Guys, we just do this because we care. But on that note, this is us saying see you next time. Cheers.